Hello, 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 and welcome to the grind behind the business. Um, our guest was running into a little technical difficulty, but she got it together, and so we're on right now. And I am so thankful because I really was looking forward to this interview. So I had a bunch of announcements.
Yes.
However, right now, because we're a bit late, I am going to jump right in to the interview. So I'm going to introduce to you our guest for today. Her name is Yvonne Hicks. Hello, sis, and welcome. Welcome, welcome,
Hello.
welcome.
Hello.
Welcome
Hello.
to the grind behind.
Yes. Hello.
Oh, listen, guys, I just want y'all to know she was, and she kept saying she's not hearing me, and you know, I use a Mac Pro. My husband bought me a Mac Pro about a year and a half ago, and that's what I use to get on the podcast. And I know a lot of people don't have the MacBook, so it can probably be the problem. And she had to literally shut her computer down, restart it all over. Her son had to help her with, put you're on the your Mac Pro right now, right?
My gosh. Yes. Yes. My son has a Mac Pro.
So I thank you, son. Thank you. Shout out to you. Because
Yes.
my God,
Yes.
I was
Yes.
sweating like a crazy horse. I'm like, what is going on? The devil is a liar. But we did it. We're on,
Yes, he
and
is.
we're gonna have this
Yes, he is.
interview.
Yes.
We're gonna have the full hour. It may be a little later than most, but I wanted you to have your time because I'm really excited about this. So, as usual, first thing that we do
Yes.
is we do the background check. It's time for the background check. Okay. So, right now, I am going to give you a year of 2021. I want you to tell me, even if it's a testimony, what were you doing around that time? What was happening? Talk to me. Let me know what's going on.
2021, I had just started working with Jefferson University Hospital down in Center City. But on my own time, I would go into shelters and speak with young ladies and hold Bible study workshops with them.
Okay. Okay, so you volunteer a lot. You do a lot of volunteering.
I volunteered with a couple of shelters, one in Montgomery County and a few in Philadelphia.
Awesome. 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 Well, I am so excited to have you today. I want to hear your awesome
Mhm.
testimony because I do know that you have a really great testimony. We're going to talk about your testimony and as a result, what is happening presently in this moment, as far as you being an entrepreneur and getting your nonprofit started. So you are the founder of Beyond the Seed. And I remember speaking to you about
Yes.
this vision like way back. And I know that you didn't just start because there's a story behind this, right? So you want to tell us a little bit
There
about
is.
that story?
Yes. So I started out as a mother at the age of 15,
Mm.
going through the hardships of learning that struggle, or just learning myself, period, as not only as growing into a woman, but growing into a mother, a wholesome mother. Now that I am of, we start off young. I started off young as a mom, thinking that I was whole at that time and not realizing it until 2022 that there was some healing that I needed to do that came along the lines of my journey of being a young mom.
Nice.
So, being a mom of four children, and I have a bonus son, I'll call because I'm now married, but I
Yes.
started off as a single mom of three.
Mm.
And it was difficult. It was really hard. At one time, before meeting my husband, I was homeless and I was heartbroken and thought that I had a life that I was glimpsing into, and it never took place. And because of that, I had to kind of struggle through some hardships of not only finding a roof for me and my children, but also dealing with that everyday struggle of taking care of not only myself, my children, and making sure that they were in environments that were safe for them, and that I was pouring into them what I wanted to see, um, positively in them.
Mm. Mm.
They're even growing up as a young lady, as a young girl before I started having children. There were little things that as you're a little kid, that is never going to happen to me. I'm never going to do that.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
you find out along the lines, never
Yeah.
say never, because you never know
Yeah.
what you're going to find yourself in. And
Yeah. Yeah.
um, being a mother, I found that there was some generational curses that I needed to break in me to reflect in my children so that they can be whole.
Yes. Yes. That's such a beautiful concept and a beautiful way of thinking. And I know that's what motivated you to do and to become where you are today, presently. But I this is something that I often like have to remind the younger generation, is that a lot of the things that you do have an impact on the children, your children. I tell my daughter this all the time, and I
Mhm.
love that because
Mhm.
they don't realize that sometimes they become the motivation even for you. I remember as a young single mother going through stuff.
Yes.
I remember her being my
Mhm.
motivation because there were days there was so weary. Um,
Mhm.
you didn't want to something. There are moments you didn't want to do extra stuff. You didn't want to. There were bills to pay. There were things to do, but having a
Yes.
child and wanting the best for that child, wanting the best for
Mhm.
that child to go to a proper school, be in a better environment, and such, they become the motivation for
Mhm.
you to do more and to push more. So I totally get
Yes.
it.
And
Yes.
that's that's very true. And then alongside that is, with me being a young mom, there were
Mm-hmm.
things that I was learning along the way.
Nice.
So my daughter, who is now in her 30s, it was me and her for a bit.
Oh,
And, going to school, I would
yeah.
work at Cooper Hospital
Yeah.
and then go to school for a few semesters, I mean, for a few classes, and then go back to work after high school at West Jersey Hospital for dietary because I was living with my parents. So public assistance, I wasn't able to receive. So it was financially on myself and my parents. And my
Wow.
father was very strict. So, yeah, I mean, learning things along the way and then changing, the kids go through that effect. And so they see, well, it wasn't like this
Yeah.
before. Why is it changing now? So
Yeah.
that becomes um, an issue a little.
Wow. Wow. And living with your parents didn't make it any easier as a mother, because they never see you as an adult, and then having that responsibility, sometimes it's like, oh gosh, that's the weight of, or how do they think about me, how are they, perceiving who I am, because parents always look at you as, because I know my daughter is 27, and I still look at her
Mm-hmm.
like she's my little girl. She'll always be my little girl, right? Even though she's grown up, have her own place, her own house, and is very independent. So I get it. That in itself can be frustrating. Now, when did you at any point? What was the point in which you had to leave, or did you leave and start on your own? What was that at that point? What happened?
The day after I graduated high school, it's the day I moved out of my house with my parents. And that began to look like me and my daughter, and a girlfriend of mine's,
Mm,
me moving in with my girlfriend at that time. Um, from there, it just it I didn't have a firm foundation for me to move
mm,
into, for me to even move. But I all I knew is that I was moving away from what I didn't want to be in, you
mm.
know, and what environment I was trying to set for my child.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
moving and developing decisions based off of what I was in at that time.
Mm. Now, I know there was a point because I know the testimony, but I'm gearing up to it. um, Now, when you moved out on your own, was that the first move? What happened in between moving out after graduation, okay, and
Hmm.
um what transpired, did you go from, blessed to, succeeding, or did something happen, was there a stumble, was there something that really changed, what took place
From me moving out of my house,
of
my home
of
at the time.
yes, on your as your own. Yeah.
I
So tell us about that, because that's the
guess everything
story
got
I really
realized.
want to get to. Yes, and I think everyone needs to hear this
Hmm.
story because it is important for young mothers, and to understand how the
Yeah.
journey of singlehood is, and the things that we have to go through,
Hmm.
even if it takes a going back and then to go forward, but we have to go through a journey, right? But we're overcomer by our testimonies, and I
Right.
just feel like this is such an awesome
Hmm.
testimony. I want you to tell people what really transpired while you know between being on your own and moving out from your mother's house. Was there something that took place? Did anything happen? Did you have to like feel your way through? Was it something that, because it had to be something that transpired you to push you for the move on your own, right? What was it apart from your child? What was the
Right.
situation? Mm-hmm.
I believe so. I think a part of that situation was a little of me not only being a little rebellion, and not wanting to follow certain rules, because my father was very strict. He
Mm-hmm.
was a Marine, so he was very strict in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
But with his strictness came you know, some healing
Mm-hmm.
that he
Mm-hmm.
needed
Mm-hmm.
to do.
Yes.
And so a lot of times when like I've noticed it with myself,
Mm-hmm.
when when I look back at me being a parent with my children, there are little areas that I can look at and I can say, "Ooh, that was an unhealed." parent at that particular
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
And when you're an unhealed parent, there are things that you do that your children wind up having to heal from,
Mm-hmm.
or may look at and say, I don't want that to be a part of who I am,
Mm.
nor do I want to be around anyone who's like that. And so that in between time of me wanting to take control over what discipline or what parenting I had over my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
I felt it was needed for me to move out because I was a child. I was only 15. So
Yeah.
my daughter sometimes would look at me, would look at my father for, like he was the parent and he wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And later on down the line, that became a friction. And so, although I was young, my daughter needed to know that I was her mother and I wanted to set that tone. And
Yeah.
so that's what caused for me to make that decision to move out.
Wow. Wow. Now, you mentioned that you were going to school and you were in school. I know that couldn't have been an easy thing. Um, Going to school, saving up the money to build up yourself, um, living in whatever situation that you were living in as a single mom. But from that time to now, what
Mhm.
inspired you? What was the thing, the main thing that inspired you to start your nonprofit? If anyone was to ask you, like, and they saw you on the street, what would you tell them would be the inspiration for you really starting, apart from just being a single mom? Because most of us have been single mom, especially in the Black community. Unfortunately, it's too much of us that have to raise our children on our own, and that is an epidemic that we see. Fathers are around, but really most moms, the single moms, they're struggling financially, and depending on whether SNAP, the government, help, having two, three jobs. What was the thing that got you inspired to say, I need to start a nonprofit?
I'm going to say the most important thing is that pushed me was the experience of the pain it
Mm-hmm.
caused, or that I experienced as a single mom, or just the journey. I noticed that there is a stipulation when it comes to single moms, whether it's in individuals or in the church. Sometimes it's hard to um, find the help that you need. Yes, there are shelters out there that you can move, that you can, go and be in. But if, in my case, I did not want to go into the shelter. There was a particular time when I walked into the shelter with my children side by side, but I turned around and walked away because I just didn't want to be in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the thing that um, the one thing that I would say to young mothers today is that a lot of time when you're going through that particular, pain of feeling not seen or not having the help you need or just not feeling understood, um, you're looking for someone to kind of pour into you. You're
Yeah.
looking for
Yeah.
someone to help. You're looking for someone to even give a word of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
I loved to sit down and talk with not only my grandma, but after she passed, it was older women that I enjoyed or looked to speak to. My mom was very much in support with me.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom is very old fashioned. So she's a traditional woman when it comes to marriage,
Yeah. Yeah.
and submissive, very submissive
Very
to my
submissive.
father. So yeah, so there was no going through or anything being said unless he approved it.
Yeah, yeah. And that now that was a good thing that you had the example of seeing the mom and your mom and dad living together, something to aspire
Mm-hmm.
to. But I know it couldn't have been hard. It could have been like really, it must have been really tough having to deal with a lot of that, knowing your situation and you being under the roof and being a single mother.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're like, oh my gosh, that is a feeling
Mm-hmm.
deep inside, knowing that you have a good example. And
It
but
is.
yeah, yeah, and I think that
Yep.
may have been the stem or the vine that the disappointment or the mental breakthrough or breakdown came.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
So
It
I'm going to
was.
read your
That I
testimony.
remember holding my daughter. Uh-huh.
No, go ahead. You were saying
Okay.
something.
Oh, I remember holding my daughter and knowing that the relationship with her father and I was not going to work out, and having at that time two kids
Mm,
with him. I That was a big letdown for myself to know that my kids would never be able to experience that two-parent household that I experienced
mm.
growing up.
So you thought,
So that was a part of I yes. So I thought, but God.
but God.
Yes, yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, that was you're right. That is the stem of the shame, I
Yeah.
would say,
Yeah.
that I started to carry.
Amen. Amen. So I'm going to read your testimony
Hmm.
that you had sent to me because I really want to elaborate a little bit on it. So, and which is just such a beautiful story. Before I met my husband 26 years ago, I faced one of the hardest battles of my life. I was heartbroken, homeless, and if being honest, outside of the love, I had my children. I had no desire to go on. And we all know being in that situation, that can be really flustering. Life felt unbearable,
Hmm.
like mountains upon mountains pressing down on my chest. Every day I fought just to get out of bed. Every day was oppressing, a quiet war between who I was and who I needed to become. I was a mother of two with a third on the way. And I felt like I had let
Hmm.
everyone down, especially myself. And that's what we just talked about, seeing that, you had your parents and what they thought and what everybody else was. And we all know that stigma because people have a way of just shh
Yes.
and shh, and that doesn't make it easy. I know even in our in churches and in certain circles, those things are shunned. So that can be a very hard thing.
Hmm.
Yes, the relationship I thought would be forever turned out to be nothing more than a fading dream. My fairy tale was crumbled, and the place was reality, cold, sharp, and unrelenting. There was no time to wallow, no time to mourn. The love was lost. I had to pull it together, not just for me, but for the three precious life God had entrusted me with. And that is really deep because a lot of single moms right now, whether they be in the shelter or, taking care of themselves, that's something that they must keep in mind. The kids that you have is who God entrusted you to. That,
Hmm.
my dear friend, is deep. Um,
Yes.
there were weeks when I didn't know where we would sleep, but I made a decision, If I wanted better for my children, I had to start by becoming better for myself. So I began to mirror within me the strength, dignity, and faith I wanted to see in them. I started building myself up brick by brick for their reflection. In that process, God met me. Through his love, grace, and mercy, a door opened. My children grandmother walked in the kitchen one day and looked at me with the sparkle in her eyes and said, "Come on, we're going to look for a new apartment." What we found was a small rundown duplex, worn out, rough around the edges. But to me, it was more than just a shelter. It was a beginning for something new. Now, this is what really got me. I didn't need a security deposit. That was God's grace. But I did need to clean it out, pull up old rugs, paint the walls, and pay the $375. I laughed at that when I read that because
Listen,
listen, you can never in this 2025 find an apartment for
375. No.
375. Okay. I said, this showing her age
And that was a two
because
bedroom.
I'm
That
like,
was a
you
two bedroom. That's not
will never.
it's not 370.
She said she paid $375 in monthly rent. I was 6 months pregnant, but I was up for the challenge. By day, I worked as a telemarketer, customer service rep in the Upper Darby. I know where that is. I clocked in at 10 a.m. and I stayed until 10 p.m., saving every penny from my first and last month's rent. By night and every even weekends, with the help of kind hands and willing hearts, I scrubbed, painted, and prepared the place, and it became a home. We moved in the same day. I was released from the
Yeah.
hospital after giving birth to what was back then my youngest son. It wasn't
Yeah.
easy. The heat barely worked. Yes. I have been in those situations too.
Mhm.
Slept in layers, all bundled up in the living room. Crack smoke seeped through the floor doors, and I stuffed towels in the crevices to keep the stench out. But still, we had a roof over our head. Just so positive, such a positive way of thinking. And I know that could not have been easy. I know that could. And then because there are some apartments,
Mhm.
my God, walking through or seeing where they are and having the drug dealer right there hanging out the steps and stuff, that could not have been easy. My God. What
No,
mentally,
not at
what were
all.
you thinking mentally when you came home with the kids at night, knowing that there's crack and there's all of that? Was there a period of that
Well,
exhausting overload mentally?
I had to become strategic on uh when they would stay out because it would normally the neighbor downstairs would normally do their Friday night partying after working all week, and so thank God that their grandmother lived around the corner or their
Mm,
aunt. So either my daughter would go to spend the night over her aunt's house, or they'll be around the corner at their grandmother's house,
mm,
or we'll be down at my cousin's house. So on those particular day or nights that they would be partying, we wouldn't be there
mm,
if it happened on a Friday. But
mm.
a lot of times I would just be praying for God to kind of, that's praying for our guardian angels to protect us.
Yeah,
Because with that, you never know who's coming in and out of the apartment complex.
yeah,
It was only 2 units,
yeah.
but at the same time, I know for sure that God has kept us
Yeah.
through that whole process, that
Yeah,
time.
yeah. And then what you had mentioned is I remember one day walking into a shelter pregnant and holding the hands of my two little ones. So, was it a period after living on your own? Did you
That
go to a shelter or was it
it
before?
happened before that. It was
Okay.
before me finding that
Yes.
apartment.
So there was that experience at the shelter.
Yes. I
Okay.
walked in with my children in belly, and I asked for an intake worker. And
Yeah.
just standing there, she said, "Wait a minute, I'll be right back with you." And looking around at the environment and looking down at my kids,
Yeah.
I I just did not want them to be in that particular situation.
Yeah.
So thank God that, I had their grandmother
Yeah.
from their father's side,
Yeah.
and I had my mother and father. Because after that, I believe my father and I weren't talking at that time, but I swallowed my pride and went to him to see if I can stay with him. And he gave me a deadline. Okay, but you have to be out by this time. And my daughter was starting kindergarten that year.
Hmm.
So I remember having just praying constantly, Lord, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm trusting, I'm trusting, I'm trusting. And as I'm sitting at my kid's grandmother's table in her kitchen, she comes in and she said, "Come on, get your shoes on. We're
Yeah.
going to go look at your new apartment."
Yes.
And even then, I felt that was God working through her.
Wow.
Um, she was a Christian woman.
Yeah.
So, although we had to deal with the heat barely working and
Yeah.
the situation downstairs, I knew that I just had to do better in order for them to be in a different environment. And so I stayed there for about 3 years and then moved into a different apartment complex for
Mm.
them.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I um I wanted to ask you, what would be your advice to a single mother right now that may be experiencing the same thing if they were listening to something like this and they may be down and out. And we all know that presently our president is shutting down Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, as a lot of people are losing, and the economy is getting a little bit crazy right now. Tariffs and everything. So
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
experience, rather they're trying to get there or whatever, it's not easy. It's tough. It's not
Right.
$350 for an apartment anymore. And shelters are even shutting down because they're not getting fundings and it's just so much going on. What would be your advice to a single mom right now going through? But also, what would be your advice to the parent on the parent side for a child or a young lady who was grown and may have, had a mistake and had a child and may need help? I need to hear your perspective on both sides.
I'll speak to the young mother first. Um, what someone once told me is that in order to, because I was once that mother, and oftentimes, you don't realize it then, but your biggest burden becomes your purpose.
Mm,
And with that, knowing your identity and knowing what you want and going after what you want and sticking to the obedience of going after that is the most important thing,
mm,
because not only is it you fighting to go after something, a goal that it will better the situation, not only for yourself, but for your children.
Mm,
The children are watching you do this. And
mm,
so what I feel like what that begins to do is for me, it breaks the cycle of the child thinking that it's okay to be sleeping from house to house
mm,
or to not have something to call their own, to now knowing that no, I have to do better, regardless of what situation that child may be in. They will recall back to, oh, I remember when my mom or when my father was struggling to to reach towards this goal, and they made it towards that goal, they succeeded. And so it's important for them to see you succeed, so keep pressing on to succeed. But while doing that, know that God is definitely with you through it all. I couldn't have made it without God in my life. I couldn't have made it without even having whatever little bit of faith I had back
mhm,
then. And it's much greater now. And I thank God for that.
mhm,
But I know definitely I would have experienced a lot worse if God was not with me and
mhm,
my children during that whole journey. What I would say to a parent who is experienced their child going through
mhm,
a particular situation that they feel that is a mistake. Um, and it's two sides to that, because is that what age is the child? Is the child old enough to make that decision on their own, or is the child underage and the parent kind of has to um, make a stand of whatever that situation may be,
mhm,
as far as a mother or a parent not allowing their child to have an abortion. Some
mhm.
people, that's a big debate.
That is.
People have their own opinions on that. But
Mm,
that's a stance that I did not um, do with my daughter.
mm,
And she did not, she held that against me for a little bit. But
mm,
I know that that's important, because I didn't want to stand in front of God and be held accountable for making that decision for you, um, or allowing for that to take place.
mhm,
But if you're dealing with the older child and that's a decision, I feel as though that is up to the individual. But my personal opinion is different. But for a parent that is dealing with a child who is kind of making some decisions that are worrisome, or, just keep working through with them. Keep being that sound of advice. But the
mhm,
most important thing is to constantly keep that child in prayer.
mm,
My grandmother was praying for me. My mother was praying for me. There were people that I didn't even know that were praying for me.
uh,
And that is the reason why
oh,
I got through a lot of things. That is the reason why I stand so strongly in my faith today.
yeah,
And it doesn't change. Just because the kids get older, the that struggle doesn't change. It just
yeah,
turns to a different level. So prayer is always going to be needed on both ends,
yeah,
to
yeah,
teach a young mother. They may not know, if they weren't in the environment of a Christian household. Um, I mean, you may they may not know that prayer is important,
mm,
but being that sound of wisdom for individuals is very important.
amen. Amen. That's good. That's really good. That's the, as parents, it can be really tough, and depending on the background, the culture, um, the season in which that
Mhm.
parent grew up, um, can determine how they project the support to that young woman or that
Right.
single mother. Um, I know when,
Hmm.
as a single mom, my mother was very supportive, but I believe it was only because she went through so much abuse on her own as a woman growing up and understanding what it is to be single and to have, children and not know where you're going to have another food to eat. So she was always supportive of me, and I'm so happy for that.
Mhm.
I'm so happy, but I didn't have what you have, which
Mhm.
was the mother and the father background. That to me, I felt
Mhm.
like I
Mhm.
needed. I felt like I needed that. That was missing. That male role model
Right.
within my life. And I think as single moms, we need at least one or two male role models in our lives, in their lives, in order to
Yeah,
understand
that's
the,
true.
the viewpoint of the male, the men, so that you don't make that mistake and you know
Mhm.
how to choose
Mhm.
and you know how to love and you know how to. And I had to find healing within, because I had to go back to, oh, I have a daddy syndrome. You know, you your dad is the
Mhm.
first
Mhm.
thing that you see in a man. That you know what you're looking for in that man because
Yeah.
you have daddy. You always there's daddy.
Yeah.
And when you lose that, sometimes you
Yeah.
lose the sight of, that male in your life. So sometimes you don't understand how to speak to them, how to treat, how to do stuff. But sometimes even having a dad in your life, depending on the
Yes.
the character of the father, you can still miss out on that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, you can still miss out on that.
Yes.
Um,
Absolutely. And that's no fault to that individual father.
yeah.
It's just that they may not know that they need to heal. And it took some years for me to understand that, I couldn't hold things like that against my
Mm,
father. And my brothers and them tell me now that, eh, my father's, I'm junior. Because as far as being stern
yeah.
and, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and you take on a lot of um from your parents, and sometimes you don't even realize it until you get to a good old young old age. As I say, we're in this young old
yes.
age, and a lot of things that I thought I would never say or do that my mom did. I find myself now saying and doing it, and you're like, oh, Jesus, I am this woman's
Yeah,
daughter.
yeah,
So I know you took on a lot
yeah.
also
And I
characteristics from
find my,
that.
yeah, and it's I do it more in a, I'm gonna say, a healthier way. Although my children would
Mm,
say different, like you're so strict, but um, it's just certain things that they don't know that they
yeah,
think they know.
yeah.
Well, my three oldest children are young adults now, but our youngest, he's in college, but they think they know, but they don't know. The same that I was.
Yes, yes. So now let's talk about Beyond the Seed, your nonprofit. So proud of you, sis. I
Hmm.
am so proud of you. Now, I understand that you're going to be having a coming soon website. I think on Thursday or Friday or something. You're going to be putting out your website and
Yes,
all of your.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
I'm excited.
A one-stop shop to get all the information.
Yes, yes. I saw your coming
Yes,
soon.
I'm looking forward to getting that out there.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna have the
Yes,
website.
looking forward to all the exciting events.
Yes. So tell us what events coming up. What is the events that are coming up? Because I know that. I mean, I know, but I want you to tell the world what are the events that are coming up. Because I know you have about two of them that are like really important for this year that you intend on putting out. So talk to us.
Yes, yes. So in September, we have a unlock your vision workshop coming up
Mm-hmm.
for single moms who are looking, or single fathers
Mm-hmm.
who are looking to learn and start their own business, and learning that breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have a book bag drive coming up in September, the
Yay!
beginning of September.
Yes, yes.
And we have a mentorship for single moms workshop.
Yeah.
We're looking to have up and running by the end of September.
Yes, 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 yes. And there's so much more. So now what are some programs and what is your intention with Beyond the Seed? Is it just going to be about programs? Is it going to be a shelter, transition? What are we doing? What is the whole gist behind the seed, beyond the seed, Inc.
Our vision and goal is to have a building for young ladies at this particular time
Mm-hmm.
who are single mothers, to be a second phase of a transition from leaving the shelter, working alongside or partnering with some shelters before starting this Beyond the Seed. I've noticed that there is a gap. So there are requirements that young ladies or individuals have to complete when leaving a shelter. And a lot of times when they complete what they need to complete in the shelter and then they graduate from moving out from the shelter, they may do good for about 6 months, but then they're finding themselves a lot of times back in that particular situation because either the foundation was not sturdy enough. So with Beyond the Seed, I'm looking to kind of partnership with other shelters where we can take in individuals who are serious about uh, changing and working towards a better future for themselves and for their child.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking to have like a program that would be either 2 years to 4 years where they will be able to receive subsidized uh, rent, where they would not be paying a full amount in rent for that particular apartment. But they would also be in with other parents as a community, other single mothers as a community, and receive resources, self-building or self-expanding workshops, faith-based certain things in faith-based with workshops. And uh, they would also have or be able to, they must be in a program, either apprentice program or a associate's or bachelor's program. So when they graduate, they are graduating from that particular, from our program, with not only a associate's degree or a certificate, money saved, a firm plan that they're going to succeed in building that future for them and their child.
What you're saying is you're going to be the program that helps these single moms to find the stability that they need
Hmm.
to keep moving.
Yes,
That's
yes,
pretty much in a
yes.
nutshell what you're trying to say. And I love it. I love it. I love it. Kudos to you, sis.
Yes.
I
Well, thank
know
you.
it's
Thank
not
you.
easy starting a shelter. I
It's not.
remember the
Hmm.
experience and it consumes you because it becomes such a passion and it doesn't shut down. A shelter never shuts down. It's open all the time. And so but
Hmm.
it's so
Hmm.
needed. It's so needed in the community. I think there are few, especially for women and children. Sunday Breakfast Mission used to have one,
Right.
but they shut them down. Couple places around Philadelphia has been shut down. So I know your program would be awesome and would be much needed. Now, are you going to be mostly for the Philadelphia area, or are you planning on moving to another area within Pennsylvania?
The goal is to have an area within Pennsylvania. The model of removing from the atmosphere into a
Mm-hmm.
different atmosphere to kind of
Mm-hmm.
give light of difference,
Yeah.
um, is the goal. The goal is to not be, I would be, the goal is to accept applicants from the Philadelphia area or from the Montgomery County area into the program, but it will not be in Philadelphia.
Awesome sauce. Oh my gosh. I am so excited for you, sis. I am very excited for
Thank
your
you.
program. And I know others who are listening presently, they're excited for you as well. Now, I heard you
Thank
mention
you.
about your back to school drive. And I know that
Yes.
you're in need of supplies. So I did have a couple things. You know, I had your flyers. They were being shown, but what are some things that you're in need of? Because for those who are listening, this would be her first drive, and we want to support. I know for me, I intend on giving several different things to you, supporting your ministry, supporting what you're about to do. But what are some things that you're looking to have so that you can donate to the children back to school for the back to school drive? What are some, needed supplies?
During this time, we definitely are pushing for book bags
Mm-hmm.
to be donated for the drive,
Mm-hmm.
along with notebooks, crayons,
Mm-hmm.
pencils, markers,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the normal, supplies needed, erasers, tissues, things of that nature.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And who can they contact? What's a phone number in which if someone is looking to find you to donate supplies to your drive?
Yes,
What are some
you can
things?
you can
What are
you
what
can reach
what's the
out
contact
to
number?
Beyond the Sea.
Mhm.
Oh, the contact number is 267
Mhm.
942 9770.
Awesome, awesome. So guys, you hear this? She's in need of supplies. I know some of you are listening, and reach out to my sister. She, if you want to volunteer, under her nonprofit, definitely give her a call. I'm sure you're in
Yes,
need of volunteers, right, for that day, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of kids
we
just,
are.
I want a bag, I want to do. So I know you have
We
to set
are.
up, you
We
got to
are.
get to the facility, make sure everything is, spread out so that everyone can get evenly and all of that. So, reach out to my sister, Yvonne Hicks. You can find her on Facebook. You can find her on Instagram. And she just gave you her number. And Yvonne, do me a favor. When we're finished with the interview, please add your information on the comments so that
Okay.
people can
Okay.
reach out to you if need be. Right? So we're going to head to the comment section because there's a
Mhm.
lot of people that have been commenting, but I've been so engrossed in your testimony. But let's get to the comment section, okay? We've got Michelle Mosley. Hey, Michelle. Hey, girl. She said, your testimony is
Hey,
truly
Michelle.
a blessing, Yvonne. But God. Yes, but God. Um,
Yes.
I also
Yes.
have a Miss Harris that is agreeing with you. She says so true. Wow, that's really a great perspective and so mature. So people are listening to what you're saying and they're
Mm,
taking notes, and it is important that we do pay attention to the tone and to the attitudes in which we give to our children, because it does last. The impression last, and that way you don't have to have that
mhm.
conversation later on after so much things has happened. So I love that you said what you know, the comment that you made about being a parent and supporting your child. um so and Miss Harris has been commenting, so you go back in there, you'll see she says, wow, great way to position yourself as a transformative catalyst. That's what they need, and she's been just commenting and supporting you. Thank you so much, Mrs. Harris, for taking the time to watch the
Thank
grind behind
you.
the business and support my girl, Yvonne. Thank you. Thank you
Yes,
to
thank you. Thank
everybody who's
you.
viewing. Thank you so much. We know we were late, but guys, you still showed up, and we tried to show out. So I want you to give your shout outs. It may be someone that you want to, say thank you to, or you want to mention. This is your time. This is your time to shout out to whomever and mention whomever, or talk about whatever. Even give your information, your email, whatever, so that people can find you. Okay?
I just want to give a shout out to my Beyond the Seed board who helps support the mission and the vision of Beyond the Seed. Um, I can't do it by myself, and I have a good team of young ladies who are coming alongside me and are pushing for that. So thank you and kudos to
Right.
you all. Um, I also want to give a shout out to my sisters. Thank you for always being there to pick up the phone. And just all those who have supported me along the way. If you would like to send an email in volunteering as a mentor, because we are looking for women who are looking to pour back into other women. Maybe you have walked in the shoes in a different scenario or in a different situation, and you can reach back and kind of pour into them. We are looking for women to mentor to be able to take on a young lady and be a mentor to them. You can send me an email at beyond the seed, and that's all spelled out, org.com. Well, at gmail.com. So it's beyond the seed, org at gmail.com.
Nice.
And thank you for
Okay.
watching today and here.
Yay. Yay. So, thank you for being on the grind today. Thank you for
Thank you
your
for having
patience.
me.
Oh my God, yes, of course. Yes, of course. I am really super excited about your mission, and I am here to support the vision that you have, not just as a coach, but also as just someone understanding the need for transitional shelters in the community. You guys fill in the gap for single parents and parents
Mm,
who are in need. A
mhm.
lot of people don't understand that. I know there's so much opposition from other people who may see it and have that judgment on those situation. I know of a lot of
Yeah,
folks
yeah.
may sometimes say, well, why they have so many kids and whatever, but no one understands people's situation, and they don't know what brought them.
That there's a root. Right,
There's
right.
always a root, and it's not for us to judge that. But what it is for us to
To
do is to support.
Yes.
and to be there in whatever way or capacity
Hmm.
that we can be there for them. God even spoke about it in his words where he
Yes.
said we ought to help, those widows and people of less fortune. We need to. We are the ones that stand in the balance to help. And a lot of time we're so selfishly looking at what
Hmm.
we don't have. We don't understand. They don't have any of what we have. So it is important that we
Right.
support when we can. So this is a good work, sis. It is such a
Yes.
good work, and I will continue to keep you
Thank
in
you.
prayer. I will continue to support all that you do.
Thank you.
And I know you have a great team on your side.
Thank
And
you.
I'll be there for your first back to school drive because I'm so happy for you and I'm so psyched. And also, I want to invite other people to get on your page when you do put your website out, to get on your page and sign up for even the educational program that you're going to have in the fall. And I'm going to talk more about that, and I'll be able to promote that for you going forward next week and the week after, so that we can
Okay.
really get people to sign up. I think it'll
Thank
be in the
you.
library, the Lovett Library on Germantown.
Yes.
So yes, I am really excited
Yes.
about that workshop because it's all about building up the single moms, all about building them up and educating them. So I'm really
Hmm.
excited for you. So, and without ado, we have
Yes.
to say goodbye. And before we go, I wanted to give a shout out to Pastor Saint Jean. She's wanted me to let everyone know that they're having it's the Women of Many Hats, an empowerment woman exquisite luxurious event presents What's the Tea Brunch. This is a brunch that's happening on Saturday, and she wants everyone to just buy a ticket and come on board and enjoy the brunch. The keynote speaker for that day is the councilwoman Cindy Bask. So I'm like, really, she's the councilwoman for, I think, District 8. And there's an awesome lineup. Dr. D Williams is a speaker. There's going to be a transformational coach, a trauma specialist. It's going to be an awesome time. And so check out the What's the Tea Brunch. Go to Fertiline St. Jean on Facebook, even on Instagram, or you can actually go to the Women of Many Hats and go and sign up and buy your tickets. There are still tickets left. And I think the last day for tickets may be tomorrow or Thursday, but definitely go and support. This is an awesome day where women can come together and just love on each other and have an awesome time in the Lord. So please, please, please go ahead and sign up for that. I want to introduce everyone to the community training incentive that BSF Business Design is having. We are having workshops for not just adults, but teens. And this is being offered to several different nonprofit, whether you're a church, you're a nonprofit, whatever community agency, and you may be looking to shed some entrepreneurial light, whatever the workshop may be, we're here to provide the education and the training needed for entrepreneurs in the city of Philadelphia. So, for more information on that, if you're interested, if you want that workshop in your organization, go to www.bsfdesigns with an S llc.com, and check out the community incentive. There's also a teen entrepreneurial training program that we offer to camps and other programs for youth. So listen, sky's the limit. We want everyone to know how to build themselves up and be strong as far as being an entrepreneur for the coming months, because pretty soon we may have to become the mama and the papa shops in the neighborhood. I am so excited about that. So if you're interested, you can reach out to me, DM me, instant message me. Leave the information on the comment section as well. And don't forget, Yvonne, please leave your information in case someone wants to get in touch with you for the back to school drive. And without ado, it's time to leave. Thanks to
I will.
everyone for being patient with us and for viewing and for listening to the grind behind the business. Next week is our panel discussion. I'm excited about that as well. We have Pastor Valerie, Lady Washington, Lady Tawana Washington from Peace in the Process. And we also have Yolanda Grief Speaks. They're all mental licensed professional, and we're going to talk about trauma. Trauma. My God, we're all going through that in some form or fashion. So we're going to speak about trauma, and it's just a big subject. So we may have a part one and two, but anywho, thank you for viewing. Have a wonderful night, and see you next week, next Tuesday. Remember, every Tuesday, 6:30. Social media, Facebook, Instagram. Check us out on our YouTube page, BSF Design page. And also look out for my sister's website that's coming soon. Ah, all right now. See you, sis. I hope you have a blessed night. Bye bye
See
now.
you. You too.